So number one, building your foundational health. That Qigong principle, smooth, strong Qi equals health, performance, happiness. Weak, stagnant, blocked Qi equals pain, dysfunction, illness. It's just really is that simple. Happiness in the Taoist philosophy, in the Chinese medicine school of thought, is simply a matter of making your energy move smoothly. If energy is moving smoothly through your system and it's strong, you're going to feel happy, perform well. If it's not, you won't. So along those lines, sleep, exercise, meditation, internal practice, all of that will raise your baseline level of happiness. Sunlight and optimizing artificial light. That's a 2-in-1. So sunlight, pointing yourself in the direction of the sun, not looking at it directly, but allowing it to indirectly reach your eyes for at least 5 minutes in the morning, has a pretty profound effect, I've felt, on your mood throughout the day. And then also optimizing artificial light, meaning the light that you have in your workspace, in your home environment. Massive difference. Like, check this out, test it for yourself. I used to really not like working in the afternoons for whatever reason. And what I realized is that my computer's pointing away from the window. In the morning, the sun was coming in this way and lighting up the room. In the afternoon, the sun was on the opposite side. And so my desk was actually quite dark. Just the desk itself. There was like lights on overhead, but the desk space was kind of dark and shadowy. All I did was I put a desk lamp there. And immediately I started working longer, working harder, enjoying the work in the afternoon. And it was like not ambiguous, not vague. It was a clear difference. So see within your living environment how you can optimize the lighting and what effect that makes. I found that really shocking. Very, very small tweak and not a small result. Cold exposure for the right person. I know, Weston, you said like you feel cold all day. I know this doesn't apply to every single person, but in a lot of cases, cold exposure, cold showers, cold plunging has been shown to produce a delayed effect of or rather not delayed, but a sustained release of dopamine over the next several hours. Healing, resolving old trauma and emotional holding patterns will absolutely produce a higher level of baseline happiness. This just goes towards smooth, strong Qi. Energy moving smoothly through your emotional system means your emotions will be brighter, lighter, you will feel better, you'll feel more happy. The development of your character over the long term. Call this good person happiness. If you like the person you are, which is largely a matter of living in alignment with your values and being good to people, your character, you will be much more happy. And this is why sacrificing your integrity for short-term gain is a slow poison. Produces this little peak, maybe, but then a quick fall off. Making progress towards a worthy goal. So a sense of purpose, a sense of working towards something. Once again, happiness is determined by progress, not position. The way dopamine works, the path is literally better than the destination. And then gaining essential clarity, meaning what is your larger life vision? What are the values that you live by? What is your purpose? What is your personal philosophy? Clarifying, again, I call this essential clarity because it's essential to life. This is like the life 101 we should have been taught and walked through in school from an early age. Oh my God, why didn't they do that? Spent all this time learning about like photosynthesis and shit. What the fuck is going on? Essential clarity. Simple pleasures in the right dose. So not chasing pleasure, but simple pleasures. 1 coffee a day is a simple pleasure. 5 coffees a day, I didn't even barely like it at the end of the day. I was like, why am I still doing this? So it's treat simple pleasures like that as a supplement, not a diet. Choose your simple pleasures wisely. I love like a really high quality TV show, an episode, 2 episodes at night. So nice. Binge watching, not so nice. Social connection, even shallow social connection, of course. Even if it's just like shooting the shit with your boys, it's not particularly deep. Just being around people. A teacher of mine always says, people are the best drug. I think we're experiencing that in real time here. It's like, you can totally get high off people. And one of the lines in by one of the researchers in that Harvard Happiness Project, that long-term 80-year study on happiness, his exact words were, loneliness kills. People that were lonely, that had a lack of social connection, actually died earlier. So social connection, even if it's shallow, and then being good to people, random acts of kindness, random little, like if you like giving gifts to people, if you like doing favors for people, you'll find that there's a way that you give to people uniquely that actually really fulfills you. And it's unique with everybody. There's this old kind of pop culture cliche love relationships book called The 5 Love Languages. And it's a super simple concept. You don't have to read the books. It's just basically there's 5 or roughly 5 or maybe more than 5 ways that people give love to each other. Falling in love and building your relationship with the right partner for you. So building the relationship and actively working on it as a long-term project, getting good at being with each other. It's an incredible investment into your long-term happiness. Doing work that you're proud of, that gives you creative satisfaction. Writing a really good email that I'm really proud of afterwards, that I reread a few times and I'm like, damn, like I'm happy to sign my name to that thing. That can make my whole day. It's so creatively satisfying. Giving these talks when it hits, whatever the equivalent is for you. So doing work you're proud of, and then financial discipline, organization, and clarity. Being really clear around your finances. It's not about spending or not spending. It's about knowing the things that you're spending on and buying that are actually adding and enriching your life. And then things that you're buying that are just empty and hollow and just sitting there, not really producing any happiness at all, adding clutter. And being disciplined about spending money on things that do produce happiness, but also just being clear on your finances, organized, knowing how much is coming in, how much is going out. Actively cultivating your friendships, especially as you get older. It's harder and harder, as Sean said, to meet new friends as you get older. Your friends will have kids and they'll stop hanging out. You'll see them only a few times a year. It's much easier when you're younger. And as you get older, you'll have to proactively cultivate them. Reach out to people, make the effort to spend time with people, and cultivate them in the same way that you cultivate a relationship with a long-term partner. Cultivate your friendships as well. Optimizing your inputs. So put things into your mind that leave you feeling better after you've consumed them. Don't put things into your mind that leave you feeling worse. After watching Ted Lasso, I would often feel like better for having seen it. After reading a really good book, I'd feel better for having read it. There are also shows where I'm just like, why did I do that? Content you consume that enriches you, content that's just empty and hollow. So optimize your inputs. And the objective here is clean inputs in moderation, basically. The right input at the right dose at the right time. And then here's one. Optimizing your appearance without obsessing about it. Feeling good about the way that you look in a relaxed way, not so that you create some sort of impression with others, but simply feeling good about how you look. feeling clean, hygienic, liking the clothes that you wear that feel good on you. Like, Vuori clothing literally makes my life better. It actually does. It really does. It's like, it's comfortable. I like the way it feels every day. I like look forward to putting it on. It's like, oh yeah. Simple pleasure. Long-term accumulation of life experiences that increase wisdom. The long-term accumulation of life experiences that increase wisdom over time. That's the real benefit, as I see it, of travel, is not to check locations off a bucket list so that you can post on Instagram that you'd been there and tell friends that you'd been there and mentally satisfy yourself. It's getting your hands dirty out there in the world, developing understanding of the world, understanding of yourself in the world. That will absolutely increase your long-term happiness. So optimize for a wide range of life experiences, not just where do you go, but who are you with, varieties of relationships, pushing into challenges that are unique, experience. And then I guess I just said this, pushing into challenges, taking on bigger tasks and doing them. Taking on tasks you're not sure if you can accomplish and accomplishing them. Anybody remember that Kobe interview where he was talking about his creative agency that he started after his media company, after he finished playing? And he said, we don't take on projects we already know we can do. We take on projects we're not sure we can do, and we grow into them. We take on projects that will force us to expand ourselves, to become better creators in the process of creating. Exposing yourself to situations that make you insecure and or afraid, and overcoming that fear and insecurity through exposure. That's a long-term play for feeling at home in the world. Many of us have these self-defensive mechanisms that come up in specific scenarios, specific life experiences. If we're in social situations with groups that are really big, or whatever the case may be. If you have a lot of like physical fear, maybe taking martial arts. If you're terrified to talk to girls, talking to girls. If you fear social interactions or you have social anxiety, speaking up, talking to people. And through exposure to what you fear, overcoming the fear. That won't temporarily, in the short term, bring you pleasure. It'll be uncomfortable, but long term, as you let go of the fear and you overcome it, your baseline level of happiness will increase. Until ultimately the goal is, again, you're at home everywhere you are in the world. You feel comfortable everywhere. Taking creative control and personal responsibility for your life, even if you fail or encounter difficulty. Not leaving your life up to the forces of society or the opinions of others, what others pressure you into doing, taking control and responsibility. That means not the Disney Channel version of follow your heart and the money will follow. Not that, but I might fucking fail. But it will be my failure. I'm not going to fail at some shit somebody else told me to do. Did anybody hear about Jim Carrey's story about his father? Yeah, a few of you. So Jim Carrey's father, as it goes, was this, Jim Carrey's, one of the best comedians in history, comedians in history. His father, also really funny, wanted to be a comedian, didn't think that was a viable career, so he became an accountant. The accounting career, or the accounting firm that he worked for, went out of business, sent him into years, and him and his family into years of financial difficulty. He failed at something that he didn't even want to do. So you can fail at anything. It might as well be the thing that you choose. 3 more. When Mason and Ethan and I are making coffee over there talking about God. Simple little moments. When we're all sitting around the table and there's these little moments when I look out and everybody's having fun and talking, and it's just this little like moment to myself, oh, this is dope. This is really dope. There's a moment in meditation every morning where I'll feel the sun peek up over the trees, and you can feel it get brighter, and I'll open my eyes a little bit and just let the sunlight in and feel everyone silent around. And it's this little moment. It's perfect. When we're all out there at the end of the day after like a day well worked, we're accomplished. We put in 8 hours, 7 hours of like teaching and learning. And then the music comes on and we all start doing movement together. It's a simple little thing, you know, appreciation of those moments and done proactively, not letting them slide by. Multiple times every day. Full acceptance of the present moment as it is, not trying to change it or distort it. Full acceptance of a, let's call it negative experience, although there's no such thing as a negative experience, because full acceptance of an uncomfortable or unpleasant experience is in and of itself a positive experience. Full experience of grief is profound and beautiful. And then trying to hang on to a positive experience is in and of itself a negative experience. We lose it. And finally, number 25, genuine spiritual evolution. Not evolving the ego and feeling like you're becoming more spiritual than your friends. Not developing a messiah complex or thinking that you're more awake than you are, or pretending to do psychic body jujitsu and configure your karma. But actually experiencing yourself evolving, growing and evolving over the long term. We said that the spiritual journey is not other than the human journey. It is the human journey. There's no difference. And so human evolution is spiritual evolution. And what happens, we've been setting all the conditions that produce happiness and decrease happiness. The big realization here is that as you grow and develop and evolve, your happiness becomes less conditional, so that you're happier in more circumstances that otherwise you wouldn't be as you grow. So you need less to be happy until you're simply happy by default. If you're suffering, you can still be happy. If things aren't going well, you can still be happy. If you break up with your girlfriend, you can still be happy even while grieving it. If your business is struggling, if you're having financial difficulty, you can still be happy. You need less. So less conditional happiness is the result of genuine long-term evolution. The bottom line here, as we said, happiness is not a choice. It's a series of choices that ultimately lead to happiness. And the underlying principle of this whole talk is make a study of what makes you happy. You have every right to design your life in a way that makes you happy and live it that way, regardless of the demands of the external world. That doesn't mean, of course, you're never going to do things that you don't want to do, or you might not have to do things in service to a greater goal. All of that is true, but ultimately, the trajectory should lead you towards doing more of what makes you happy. And I believe every single one of you has the right to eventually build a life that's just full of things you love and free of things you don't.